Context and directions of Australian education. There are many different contexts which affect Australian education directions: historical, social, political, economical, industrial, global, and philosophical. These have all affected Australian education in diverse ways. Historically in Australia, a school has been anything from a barn to a hall to more formal brick buildings to the institutions which are still recognisable today. Schooling became mandatory in Australia with the Education Department's 1872 Victorian Education Act. This act made schooling free, compulsory and secular, which took the responsibility for educating the nation away from the church and put it into the hands of the government. Prior to the implementation of the 1872 Education Act, children who didn't attend school typically worked to help out with household finances, and schooling was typically considered a privilege for the wealthy elite. Schooling at this time focused on the 3 R's: reading, writing and arithmetic, and classrooms were largely homogeneous. Over time, the Australian curriculum has diversified, and new areas of study have been added, such as music, physical education and media, and many more. Schooling has always been academically driving its students towards university. However, over the years, there have been fluctuations in the availability of diverse pathways for students who are not suitable for university. Trade placements, apprenticeships, internships, work placements, technical schools and colleges have all been part of Australia's educational landscape. These trade and technical skills enabled students to have greater diversity of potential employment opportunities, particularly after the feminist movement of the 1960s and 70s, which removed the genderisation of subjects such as woodwork, typing or home economics. Today, students have pathways through VCAL, VET and TAFE, as well as many of the traditional options like apprenticeships, but these pathways depend on the resources available in the student's area and at their school. The requirements for teachers have also changed over the last 150 years. Today, teachers are required to have a bachelor's degree and often also a master's or a diploma in education. In the past, teachers often didn't need to finish high school in order to become a teacher. On top of these qualifications, we expect teachers to integrate technology, curriculum content, cross-curricular priorities, literacy skills, school and Australian economics, positive relationships with students, environmental and sustainability issues, as well as world issues. According to the government's 2010 Gonskier report, the gap in resources between high and low socio-economic schools leads to a greater division in the academic results of these groups. So, is economics the solution to this gap? To shrink the gap, schools need higher quality teaching staff, to invest in professional development, and the integration of technology. So what does the future of Australian education look like? It has long been shown in research that students benefit from child-centred pedagogy, and the future of Australian education will ideally be based on individual student needs. In conjunction with this, it is anticipated that technology will form an increasingly integral role in the classroom. The fusion of these two predicted futures outcomes will result in the individualised coursework based on student needs in an ICT format where students will have access to a range of resources no matter their location, linguistic or language skills, reading or writing skills or numeracy skills. The future of ICT and child-centred pedagogy also holds the possibility of online personal learning coordinators who can help keep students on track. Students will also have access to online classrooms, online blackboards, collaborative work with students from anywhere in the world, and the ability for students to work on individual personal learning levels. The future of Australian education is bright.
Created using Powtoon.